Welcome back, guys, to episode 11 of Sports Talk Soup. I'm Blair on Air, Blair on Air 1 on Twitter, and this is Vito Churko at Vito Jerome.
Did you get that
Twitter.
wrong the last time? You might have, but you've been off for a while. Okay, I cut you some slack. Let it just, roll by me, so it's all right, Blair. And yeah, it's at Vito Jerome. But Vito Churko is my actual name, first and last name, so you would think, what's the Vito Jerome from? Well, Jerome is my dad's name and is my middle name. So
awesome.
That's where it's from. Anyways, so what do we have on tap here today?
So today we're going to get into some home team info. We're going to break down, kind of look at game by game the Detroit Lions. Interesting. We're also going to talk about that Kawhi Leonard trade and what's going on out west with the Lakers, Vito.
Well, a lot of interesting and tasty nuggets there from the Lakers this offseason so far. Adding the biggest prize of the offseason in LeBron James, the best player in the league right now, to start off. Giving him a nice contract, long-term deal with the Lakers for a lot of money. A lot of bucks that you and I don't have collectively. And then signing some guys on the cheap on one-year deals, such as Lance Stevenson, JaVale McGee, Rajon Rondo, Michael Beasley recently even, who was playing over in China at one point, was on the Knicks last year, looked solid last year scoring the basketball. And these guys are tough dudes. These are bulldogs on the basketball court. And we had a bulldog on the football field as a guest last week, or on the last episode of Sports Talk Soup, episode number 10, and Andre Selden. Now, you look at these basketball players that we're talking about here that were signed on the cheap on one-year deals for the Lakers, and really they are the same kind of cut from the same cloth as Andre Selden. But on the basketball court, obviously, and they will be donning that Laker purple and gold this upcoming season.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And, when we were talking about the show rundown, I said, Vito, let's talk about the Lakers, but not with LeBron as the main topic. How in the world do you do that? Why did I request that? And I just, you know what? It's nothing against LeBron at all, but I just feel like Magic Johnson and the Lakers, they are really piecing together the team. And personally, you can't convince me that LeBron doesn't have some input on that as well. So I think there's a lot going on in addition to, like you said, the main subject, LeBron James. A lot of other things going on in LA.
LeBron makes you a better scorer, too, because he finds you open on the wing or whatever. You're wide open for three-point looks. Thing is, for the Lakers, their supporting cast right now is not really full of these great three-point shooters. Contavious Caldwell-Pope, former Piston great. You remember him, obviously. KCP is better known as now. Well, guess what? He can shoot the three ball. He's a 3-and-D type of wing player. Thing is, they have nobody else that can shoot the three ball. I mean, that's the thing. So LeBron, because he's so good and garners so much attention when he's driving the basketball, can kick out all the time on the wing to open guys in the corner for three-point shots and easy three-point looks. Thing is, now LeBron doesn't have those guys on the wing to dish it off to for these easy three-point looks. So how does that affect the Lakers? I think it could severely damage their chances of really making a run in the playoffs this year. Outside of the fact that they have LeBron, I still think, despite that being the case, Blair, that the Lakers might be hindered by the fact they don't have a lot of great long-distance shooters.
Well, Vito, I think that LeBron is going to be fine anyway, either way it goes, because he's going to make the adjustment on the court. So like you said, his ability to see the court, know the personnel he's working with, he'll make whatever adjustment he needs to until they can get the personnel. But I'm wondering, with all of the changes that they have, with the people they're bringing on, what do we think is going on with this ball guy? Is he kind of going into the back shadows, or do you expect him to continue to develop right alongside Kuzma?
Well, would you want to slap? Well, how about LeVar Ball, the dad of Lonzo Ball? Lonzo Ball is good towards meniscus or something now, has all this rehab time, but a lot of people would like to slap the heck out of LeVar Ball. We're not advocating that kind of stuff and punishment to LeVar, but this guy talks too much. It comes down to that, to the principle of the fact that he's a father. He's a father. He's not a Lakers personnel member, and he's trying to have all this input. And his voice is so strong. And he's, once again, not on the Lakers, not a paid Lakers employee, yet he has all this input and strong input and all the time. On a daily basis, he's saying something about the Lakers and their struggles, or about his son maybe not receiving enough playing time, and about his role not being good enough for, what he thinks it should be, and for Lonzo. God, I mean, just back off, man. Back away from Twitter, LeVar, and from CNN. But the thing is, these media outlets keep giving them airtime. They keep feeding the monster and the frenzy of LeVar Ball. What has become of LeVar Ball, which is like a caricature of himself, because he's always speaking. He's cartoonish now, to me, at least, Blair.
Well, Vito, here's what I have to say about that. I definitely think LeVar Ball is very vocal. For a while, it almost seemed very misplaced. But the fact that he started his own league now, I think we've seen him kind of pull the reins back a little bit with the Lakers organization. He doesn't even have time to focus or endorse them right now when he's focusing on JBA, his actual league, which has been growing a nice following over the summer. Have you had a chance to kind of follow any of the stats or players there, Vito?
I haven't and won't watch it. Have you watched it? I'm not a LeVar Ball fan. You can tell. Can you tell a little bit?
I could
Did
definitely.
I throw some shade at him? I think I might have said something.
I can definitely tell that you're not a fan. So much so, he just rubbed you and probably every other person so wrong.
He talks way too much.
Yeah, between draft and the beginning of the season. But I honestly feel like he doesn't have time to focus the way that he did on the Lakers now that he has his own league. And you know what? Most of the guys, when they are heading into their second year, for some guys it maybe takes third, but they start pulling out and having their own personality, their own say-so in how they operate as adult men and how they conduct their business. So I believe that Alonzo, you know, he's doing his own, like he's off and running now. So I don't think he talks as much.
Good. Don't run your mouth anymore. Good God. Great to hear that, Blair. Now, Lonzo's more of a man, more of an adult figure and professional than LeVar Ball, in my opinion. LeVar's how old? 50 maybe? And his son, at the tender age of what? Early 20s, is more professional and respectable, in my opinion, as just a human being than LeVar Ball is. But anyways, getting away from that conversation to the Lakers roster as it's currently structured, what do you think about the locker room, all those big-time personalities and egos meshing with LeBron in the Lakers locker room? Do you think it's feasible for that to happen this season in LA land?
Well, I think that it's feasible to happen. I think there's a possibility either way. You know, obviously in Cleveland, there was a lot of shakeup in the locker room. The reason I think it'll be different in LA is because you're taking a lot of guys who may not have achieved the level of success, i.e. ring with an S, like LeBron has. And if your goal is to get a ring, then you will personally make the adjustment to make sure that happens. So I think they'll be fine. I think everyone who's going there, obviously they will understand what their purpose and role is. Magic being a former player and you know, one of the greats and having to deal with other powerhouses, I'm sure he's able to delegate and have those type of discussions with players that maybe other people in his position couldn't have because they haven't experienced the court and the locker room that he has. So I think he's curated the Lakers team very well. I think that he's smart enough to understand the personality differences and who to bring on the team and who not. So I think they'll be fine.
How about Lance Stevenson? Will he still be whispering in the ear of LeBron James? Remember when he was a Pacer? LeBron was what? A member of the Heat? They were whispering in each other's ears? Well, Stevenson was doing all of it. Mm-hmm. That guy's got a huge head. I mean, like, I don't even know where he's at, where his head is at times, but he brings that big-time badness and toughness to that Lakers squad, as does Rajon Rondo. Mm-hmm. And what do you think about the fact that they brought these guys in to kind of toughen the young core of the Lakers roster, that really it consists of largely Lonzo Ball and Kyle Kuzma, really led by those two youngsters on the Lakers squad currently?
Yeah, I think that it definitely speaks to what I think is the difference in between the West and the East. In the West, you definitely got great technical players with finesse. I'll say teams, like the teams themselves are technical and kind of finesse teams versus, to me, in the East, more of a gritty and kind of grind. They're going to get their points, but it's going to be defense. It's going to be under the rim. So I think bringing those type of players to the West will definitely help. It's definitely LeBron style because he's traditionally an Eastern style player. So I think it's just going to help balance the team, allow him to have some key pieces that understand the schemes and his style of play as he, like you said, he brings the younger players into that style. I think it's going to be great because, don't get me wrong, even though I said that the West teams have finesse and IQ and the such, you've got people like your Draymond Greens. You got people like your Russell Westbrooks. They are going to get in there and they're fierce. So they have some tough players too. I'm just saying that the style between the two, that would be the difference, and I think it'll work out fine having those other players.
I think the Lakers want to rough up the Warriors. They want to bring some toughness that maybe the Warriors haven't faced yet in the Western Conference. After all these years winning 3 out of 4 NBA championships now, 3 of the last 4 years winning an NBA title, Draymond Green brings that toughness, but the rest of their roster, they're not soft per se, but they're more quiet and they're maybe not as tough. You could say they're just not as tough as maybe some of these Lakers guys that the Lakers, Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka, the GM of the Lakers, are currently bringing in here.
Yeah, I think so. I think that you basically kind of reinforced the idea that I was getting at. They're bringing the toughness to that side of the country.
They are now, to the Western Conference
during
big
a
time.
regular for conference play. So I think it makes sense. It's very smart. And like I said, it's curated on multiple levels. I think it makes a lot of sense. On first look, it's like, what's going on with all these random
about all
players?
these pieces fitting into the puzzle? How do they all fit into the puzzle?
Yeah, I think they'll fit just fine. I mean, that's going to definitely be up to the coaching staff on what the switches are going to be. I'm interested to know who the starting 5 will be. Now that they have such a mix-up in the roster, I can't even tell you who the starting 5 would be. Do you think you know that lineup,
Well,
Vito?
really quick, LeBron makes everyone better, and I wanted to mention Brandon Ingram. Ingram's going to be a very big-time member of that core for the Lakers for years to come, I believe. He's going to make him maybe look like a superstar. Lonzo Ball, can he shoot, though? Because you know what? LeBron and him both want the basketball. So Lonzo, Kyle Kuzma, Brandon Ingram, LeBron himself. I mean, LeBron's going to be playing the 5. They're going to be playing small, but they will be a tough unit to go up against, even for the Warriors, who are still the top dog in the Western Conference and all the NBA, too. They should be the favorites to win. They are to win the NBA championship once again for a 4th time now in 5 years, which would be just crazy, but they are that good once again, stacked. And they added DeMarcus Cousins for the mid-level exception, like 1 year, $5.4 million, I think, which is a league average salary. Now they have DeMarcus there, who's out for half the season, but when he gets back, God, they can have him come off the bench or something. So the Warriors are stacked once again. And in the pecking order in the Western Conference, Warriors number 1. Who's number 2, Blair? Is it still the Rockets, who almost beat, remember, the Warriors? Went to 7 games in the Western Conference Finals last year. Is it still the Rockets at number 2? Or is it now the Lakers with LBJ, leading the way?
Well, I think I got to see some preseason games.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the hot seat here. I'm putting you on the spot a little bit early before the preseason.
I'm gonna say Lakers.
Okay.
I'm going to say Lakers. We'll see how things pan out, but I'm going to say Lakers.
Well, how can you not believe in LeBron James? How many straight finals? 8 straight finals, I believe he made. I mean, God. But they only won, with the Cleveland Cavaliers, the last 4 years he's made the finals with the Cavs, ever since he came back to Cleveland. They won 7 finals games. So they won their 1 series, won their 1 championship in 4 years, but then won,
kind of
3 other games they won. But LeBron gets his teams to the highest level of competition, of just achievement possible in a single season. So he's done it before. You really can't count him out, even with the mighty tough Warriors and Rockets. Still right now, I believe, ahead of the Lakers in the pecking order in the Western Conference. But then transitioning to the Eastern Conference and how that shakes up now without LBJ in Cleveland. The East is now a tad weaker, or at least the Cavaliers won't be there at the top. The Celtics look like a mighty tough team, maybe will win 60-plus games. And then Kawhi Leonard gets dealt from the San Antonio Spurs, who no longer have that great roster in San Antonio. Now Kawhi gets dealt to the Toronto Raptors and Danny Green as well, a guy that's a 3-and-D player, great three-point shooter. And Kawhi, if he's all there mentally, let's say, he can be really good, and he's one of the best two-way players, if not the best two-way player in all of the NBA, Blair.
Really interesting what's going on in Toronto. Like I said, a lot of things didn't really, it doesn't make sense on first look. But if you think about it, the Raptors had an issue. One of the biggest complaints of the fan base, and I'm sure the GMs and everyone else, was getting past Cleveland, right? They can't get past Cleveland. What is this big deal? That's no longer a thought, in my opinion. So perhaps the moves that are being made, the trades that were being made by the Raptors, if Cleveland is not an issue, then now you're starting to focus on postseason and matching up against your West. Are they going to try to go for a championship run? Obviously, playoffs again in this, everything in the NBA this coming the 2018-19 season, it's like calling it the first season. There have been so many monumental changes.
Big time shakeup. You're right, in both conferences because of all these moves.
In both conferences, that it's almost like, okay, this first season, then the Raptors are ready to go out, and they're already planning for playoffs and maybe even stiff competition to go for a championship. And I don't think that's a wrong move. I think that it's good to plan for that because of all of the changes between the East and the West, Vito.
So DeMar DeRozan was jettisoned to San Antonio on that deal. A big deal for Kawhi Leonard. Leonard going out to Toronto, a place where he probably didn't want to play. He wants to be in LA in the bright lights and playing for the Lakers is what the word is out there about Kawhi, what he wants to do after this upcoming season. He's going to jettison Toronto after 1 year and go join the Lakers and forces that means with LeBron in LA at Staples Center. So it looks like that big time from Kawhi. So it's a 1 year deal for the Raptors, really. That's how they have to look at it. I think they are viewing it as such. And they didn't get it done, though, with DeMar DeRozan. DeRozan and, the rest of that Toronto Raptors roster wasn't getting done, couldn't beat LeBron, never could get past LeBron. They had to make a change, and this is a big-time roster shakeup for Toronto. And now where do they rank in the Eastern Conference, in your opinion? I think Celtics are number one, but where do the Raptors rank in the Eastern Conference, Blair?
Like I said, it's so tough to really, unless I sit down and look at all of the numbers and really assess. I like to make educated guesses, and I haven't looked at it thoroughly enough to decide. I mean, there are still, I guarantee you there's a sleeper team in the East that no one's paying attention to. And God knows I wish it were the Pistons.
Oh, God, you mean the former Stan Van Gundy-led team? Blake Griffin, who's a better comedian now than a player. But you know who's good? The Bucks with Giannis, the Greek Freak. Yeah. They're an up-and-coming squad to watch. The Bulls just added Jabari Parker from the Bucks. I mean, think about these teams up on the rise. And guess what? The Pistons are. They're in the middle of the pack at best. More like a 7th or 8th seed if they even get into the playoffs, which they better. But it all depends on the health of three guys, specifically. And Andre Drummond, Reggie Jackson, and Blake Griffin. Can they all stay healthy for a full season and mentally sane and in tune for each and every single game? That's my big concern with the Pistons' so-called big three, which really isn't a big three.
Well, there's always something else to figure out and worry about. But to go back to your original question, I honestly can't call it. I definitely think 76ers with the core group, Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, continuing to develop, because during the season everybody's upset. Obviously he was injured. You weren't really able to see if the Sixers got what they hoped for in that number one spot, but he definitely showed signs of hope. I've watched Markelle play and I know he's going to be just fine. The fan base has to jump on board, and ideally he lights up this season and you definitely have them as contenders.
Embiid and Simmons, that's a dynamite duo to build around for the long term in Philly. Now, they completed the process totally, though, of what they wanted to go through and get to, reaching the level of high success in the NBA Finals. I don't see it happening this year in the mighty tough, maybe not mighty tough, but top-heavy Eastern Conference, where the Celtics are still the top dog, in my opinion. But after that, we got to see how Kawhi Leonard meshes with Kyle Lowry. How about that in Toronto and with the rest of that Toronto Raptors roster? So we don't know how Leonard's going to be, and will he be trying his best every single game, exerting his fullest effort? We don't know that yet because, honestly, we can't think right now that he really wants to be there in Toronto once again, because he wants to go to LA after this season is over with.
Too many unknown variables. But if I were him, I would play my best every single game, because you don't want to find yourself in a position where someone wants to offer you less than what you're worth. And then you play well enough, then the Raptors may in turn offer you more money over a longer than a 1-year contract. So this really, it's in his best interest to play at a peak level every game, because now he has some leverage and bargaining power. If he does want to go out to the Lakers, they're going to have to pay him. It can almost become like a bidding battle, which is the best place to be in as a player.
He could do that. He really should, but I think he wants to join the Lakers so much,
or
the Clippers. So maybe the Clippers pay him some more money, and maybe that's why he joins forces with the Clippers there instead of the Lakers.
Yeah, he definitely has to play well, though. He can't tank his own season. Not talking about the team, but he can't tank his own season. I don't think he's in a place to afford that.
Now, how about the Pistons now? Without LeBron in the Eastern Conference, where do they rank I think they make it in, and I think we have to guarantee that at least they make it into the playoffs. Once again, if they don't, highly disappointing if that is the case.
I think I'm right on schedule with you. I think they make it into the playoffs. I think they are definitely middle of the pack, and anything better than that is definitely appreciated. Anything sub is not expected. I just don't expect that with the great coach that we have in Casey, and like you said, the big three, what we call them here in Detroit. I'm really looking and expecting better things out of the Pistons this year.
So transitioning from the Pistons, a lowly squad, perhaps. I think we all, well, you don't, but I do. Sorry. Anyways, to all you Pistons fans out there, to the Lions. And their fan base, man, is not devoid of hardcore fans, even though they've stunk it up really for a large portion of their franchise history. But this year, there are some higher expectations, a mighty tough schedule, and they play the Jets on Monday night, first game of the regular season. So they got that in prime time, Monday Night Football, to start off the season against a team that might be led by Sam Darnold. They should win that game, get that first W. But after that, I mean, a lot of people are saying the Lions might only get to 6 or 7 wins, which would be highly disappointing for me, and I'm not even a Lions fan, but to look at Matt Stafford and to know he's reaching the point of his career where he should be putting up 9 and 7 campaigns at the very least. And some have said he should be capable, and the roster as a whole should be capable of doing that this season. But, man, I don't think you can't guarantee more than 8 wins out of this Lions team this upcoming season, Blair.
Well, Vito, I think that you talk about Matt, and one of the issues that I think we've all seen as fans of the sport and the Lions in general, you can't ride Matt's back too hard. Like, Matt gets out there and he's shown season after season that he's a good quarterback. So the question is, what are they doing with that line? What are they doing to help him? What changes are made to make sure that as a quarterback, Matt Stafford can be efficient and have the protection that he deserves? Vito, what changes have they made in the Lions that make you feel like this is something that's going to happen and be helpful this season?
Well, a better running game maybe, because they added LeGarrette Blount, Kerryon Johnson from Auburn in the NFL draft. So those kind of guys, some old linemen as well, to help out with building a better ground game and protection for Matt Stafford to keep him upright for a full 16-game regular season, which they have to. He's your franchise QB. You're paying him top dollar to be an elite passer, not just an average or a little bit above average passer, an elite passer. So for him to take that next step or to gradually keep improving as the franchise passer of the Lions, you know what? You need him protected and fully for the full entire season. So I hope to see that more out of the Lions' O-line and running game in terms of being able to do that sufficiently for Matt Stafford on a game-to-game basis. And I do expect that out of the Lions this season. And that's why I think they really could get, to at least 8. I'm expecting that, but that's not saying much. That's only 500, and you're not making the playoffs. But if they could become that team with Matt Patricia now leading the way, Bob Quinn in the front office, that team that can win 9 to 10 games every single season, at least for a 4 to 5 year stretch, well, that means you're going to make the playoffs more often than not. Now, not every season, because 9 wins aren't going to get you in every single season to the playoffs. But largely speaking, you can say they're going to make it at least a couple of those 4 years or a couple of those 5 seasons if they win 9 or 10 games consistently.
So, Vito, you're kind of screaming that 9 or 10 games consistency. Well, if we look at the schedule
let's go down the games.
Let's just
give me the games here. I'm going to give you game-by-game predictions.
And I'm going to keep a tally here.
Sure.
And let's see which teams. In fact, I'll write down which teams we're winning against so I can see what 9 teams that we're going to beat.
I hope I can get to 9 now after all that said.
Let's see. All right, so we've got game 1 against the Jets. You definitely said you're hoping for a win
Got a W
right?
there.
Okay, Jets. Then we've got the 49ers.
Jimmy G and company. He's the new quarterback there in San Fran. He looked good towards the end of last season. I'm going to say, though, early on in the season, the Lions get that W. They start off 2-0. I'm being optimistic here right now about the Lions.
Let's go. And how about the Patriots?
No way, Jose. Tom Brady, maybe not at his prime, at 41 years young, you could say, but still at an elite level. The Patriots aren't as good of a roster, many people are saying, but I still believe they get that done against. Come on, the Lions, they're going to beat the Lions, man.
Listen, Brady. Come on, let's keep
But
this
teacher
one.
beats pupil. Beats student, right?
Okay.
Right, come on.
All right.
And then Matt Patricia beats, Bill Belichick beats his former student in Matt Patricia.
We'll see. That's going to be a good one. I'm going to go with Brady. Oops, did I say it? Being a hometown fan.
You had to do because you're biased with the U of M, biased with you love the Michigan stuff. You played there at U of M. But anyways, moving on. So we both have the Patriots winning that game then in week 3.
Yeah, we definitely do.
The third game for the Lions.
All right, so then next going to be the Cowboys.
Ezekiel
Elliott.
Cowboys should be good. Dak Prescott, I think, will continue taking steps forward. I'm going to say 2-2 for the Lions after 4 games.
All right, so no to the Cowboys. Okay. Packers. Cheesehead.
God. I mean, now I'm going to say the Lions are 2-3. I thought they would win 9 games, and now I'm going to say they're going to be 2-3 after 5 games.
Dolphins.
Now, where's that game? Where's that 5th game at? Tell me.
The Packers is... Oh, man, I forget. Which one is first? Does that mean
we
Packers
can look
at
actually
Lions?
here, too.
Yeah, because mine is not even seeing.
And we can see, so Packers at home for Week 5. I'm going to say in that game, Lions get it done, surprisingly. They pull ahead in terms of wins and losses, get above 500, and they're 3-2 after 5 games.
All right, let's go. Good job.
Week 6 is a bye. Week 7 now.
Dolphins.
At Miami. On the road against a team that's not going to be that great. I think they get that W, which means they would be 4-2. So they got a chance of winning 9 games then, I guess, at this point, huh?
Let's keep it moving. Seahawks.
Seahawks at home. The Seahawks won't be as good this year. Their Legion of Boom is no longer, but they still have Russell Wilson, a dang good quarterback.
Yes.
I'm going to say the Lions. Oh, my God. I probably shouldn't. I'm going to say the Lions at home get it done. So what, 5-2 now?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
All
Week
right.
9 now at Minnesota.
Vikings.
NFC North rival, who now have Kirk Cousins leading the way. I'm going to say the Vikings get it done at home. So 5-3 I've got for the Lions
Vikings.
after 8 games.
Bears, this is like a traditional rivalry. So who's going
Mitchell
with this one?
Trubisky is the quarterback of the Bears. Should be by then, too. I mean, unless he really struggles. In Chicago, that's a game the Lions can win, but they don't always win. I'm going to say actually lose on the road to Chicago. A better Chicago team than I guess in years past you could say.
Panthers.
Carolina at home, though, against Cam Newton. Do you love Cam Newton?
I like Cam
Who's
Newton.
lost some endorsements recently. But as a quarterback, he's still good. Is he great? No, and I think the Lions get it done at home against Carolina, a team that I want to see the Lions beat because my brother has huge fandom for the Panthers. Doesn't like the Lions at all. Loves the Panthers. So I want to see the Lions beat the crap out of Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers.
All right, we're back at the Bears.
They win that game at home.
All right.
So they split with the Bears.
Rams.
The LA Rams now, too, at home. Are going to be really good. They have a lot of big personalities on that roster, though, now. So Lions at home in Week 13 late in the season. I think the Rams will be a better team by then than the Lions. So I've got the Rams in that matchup.
How about the Cardinals?
The Cardinals.
Ooh,
I like that. Week 14 at Arizona, in the desert, baby. They're better than Arizona. They're going to get that win in Week 14.
All right. Bills?
The Bills, they better win that game. They don't have my man Tyrod Taylor anymore. He's in Cleveland now playing for the Browns. Will he be the starting quarterback by then for the Cleveland Browns? Or will it be the number 1 overall draft pick in Baker Mayfield out of Oklahoma? Boomer Sooner. Anyways, I've got the Lions on the road there. Buffalo's a tougher place to play than you think, though. They've got the Bills Mafia there, man. They're loud and proud. And it could be winter conditions, which could affect that game and really decide the outcome and tilt it in the favor of the Bills. But once again, I've got the Lions on the road in that one.
You have officially made your 9 teams, but we got 2 more games to go.
Here we go. Can they get to 11, really? To double digits, maybe? The Lions? Really?
Let's see.
In the first year of Matt Patricia? At home against the Vikes, I'm going to say they lose both games against the Vikes this year. The Vikes are just too good. They got the running game, Delvin Cook back healthy. The defense, they're just better all around than the Lions.
And how about the Packers?
At the Pack, Lambeau Field, Green Bay, tough place to play. I think they lose to Aaron Rodgers and company in that final week of the regular season.
So, Vito, you have actually held true to your word.
Yes, I did it, baby.
And
I did
just for our audience, I'm going to tell them. Vito's got the Lions winning 9 games this season, which could possibly put them into the playoffs, as we discussed.
Could, maybe.
Could. So that's going to be winning against the Jets, the 49ers, Packers, Bills, Miami, Seahawks, Panthers, Bears, and Cardinals. So this week on Sports Talk Soup, Episode 11, you guys have heard the Lions NFL predictions from the season from @VitoJerome on Twitter. It doesn't get any better than that, Vito.
Where do you think I went erroneous in my predictions? Which games stick out to you as bad picks by me?
Well, I think with new coaching staff, coaches have something to prove. So I don't think that you're going to lose against the same team twice. So I think they might be able to pull off a Vikings game, but it'll definitely have to be an earlier. I'm just going to go with the unpopular vote. And you know what, Vito? It's time for us to go.
Adios to all of you. Did you enjoy my picks? Did I make any sense to you? I hope I did. That is all she wrote for episode number 11 of Sports Talk Soup with Blair Glover, Blair on Air 1 on Twitter, and for me, yours truly, Vito Jerome Churko and Vito Jerome on Twitter.
Thanks, guys.
Adios, folks.
Bye-bye.